Good morning. Can you hear it? That is the sound of brood 10 periodical cicadas, 17-year cicadas. Hey guys, if you don't know who I am, I'm Ryan the BugMan, and look, today I'm going to take you through the journey of the 17-year cicada. These incredible insects have an even more incredible life history, and we're going to talk about it. So stay with me, man. It's going to be a ton of cool cicada fun right here with the BugMan. There are at least 3,400 known species of cicadas throughout the world. Most of them are going to feed on plant juices, and yet some of them rarely even feed as adults. Now, cicadas belong to the insect order Hemiptera, and most people are familiar with the annual cicada seen right here. It's important for everyone to know that cicadas are totally harmless to people. It's also important to know that cicadas are not locusts. Locusts are a type of grasshopper that commonly swarm throughout the world. I have a feeling that's where a lot of the confusion began. One group of cicadas are known as periodical cicadas. My first encounter with these cicadas was back in 1987, right here in this exact spot, where they emerged and then spread throughout south central Pennsylvania. For a kid who loved bugs and insects, it was truly magical. There are at least 12 broods of periodical cicadas in the United States, and I've since encountered these cool bugs in 1989, 2004, 2017, 2019, and again here in 2021. These beautiful cicadas are really easy to recognize with their creepy red eyes, their bright orange wing veins, and cool rust-colored wings. Now, they're only around for a few weeks, so enjoy them while you can. Look, now most animals, and definitely most insects, survive on a natural cycle of 1, 2, 4, and 10-year cycles. Periodical cicadas have mathematically beaten nature by emerging in odd year cycles of 7, 9, 13, and 17 years. While immature, the nymphs also spend those years feeding on a variety of underground tree roots. Remaining underground is a great way to avoid predators while slowly maturing. Once above the ground, bugs and insects are really easy food sources for plants, fish, birds, animals, even people. Everything in nature needs insects to survive. By arriving in early summer, they also avoid many of the typical predators that are timed to the annual cicada emergence. The largest group of periodical cicadas is the brood 10, also known as the 17-year cicadas. As their namesake suggests, these cicada nymphs will remain beneath the ground for 17 years. In late April and early May, mysterious holes are going to show up across the ground throughout their predicted range. As spring temperatures rise, the ground temperatures will as well. Periodical cicadas require a consistent ground temperature of 64 degrees in order to motivate their emergence. These nymphs are finally able to leave their underground lifestyles and see the sun again for the first time in 17 years. The nymphs are also programmed to make the arduous walk to a nearby tree or shrub. This amazing exodus of insects can best be observed between 5 a.m. and 9 a.m. in the morning, or until the heat of the day suppresses the nymphs into their burrows, where they're going to remain until the following day. Staying in the burrows also keeps them safe from midday predators like birds and squirrels, which eagerly gorge themselves full of cicada nymphs. Now, this can be equivalent to a human crawling on their hands and knees through dense brush for several miles. As if the journey wasn't too difficult for the nymph to handle already, now it has to climb to safety in order to exit the shell and expand its wings. Provided the temperatures stay consistent, these numbers will increase every day for the first week. Between week 1 and week 2 in central Pennsylvania, weather turned on the cicadas. We had overnight temperatures of 42 degrees, heavy rain, and midday highs in the low 50s. People panicked, thinking the cicada brood was going to get wiped out or drown in their burrows. Look, that's not how it works. Nature takes care of itself. This was probably a good thing that happened, only in the way that the strongest are guaranteed to survive. Yes, some of those nymphs never made it up the tree. Yes, there are likely nymphs that drown in their burrows depending on how low the area was they were in. And yes, there are still plenty of cicadas to support the ecosystem and keep nature thriving. Even though millions of cicadas are going to be consumed by predators, the sheer volume of cicadas punching out of the ground will completely overwhelm them. That's the plan. They'll emerge by the millions, covering almost every inch of the understory, as well as tree trunks and high up into the tree branches. Timing is everything now, and the nymphs are triggered to halt their climb and position themselves in order to take the next step to becoming an adult. Once in position, the shell splits at the top of the thorax, and we get our first look at the fresh adult cicada. This is a most vulnerable time for the new cicada, as it's at its fullest mercy of nature. Speed is the best protection now, and I've sped up the video here to offer everyone a good view of the adult expanding its wings. Once the wing veins have filled with blood, the fresh adult cicada will still need about an hour to fully dry. The white coloration will darken to a solid black as it hardens. The wing veins will darken to a bright orange color, while the overall wing color turns to an almost amber. Flight is almost minutes away now, but the 17-year cicada needn't waste the energy. Instead, it will climb even higher into the tree, where it will take refuge from the midday heat and nearby predators. As is the case with nature, not every cicada is going to survive this process. There will be millions of fatalities and incomplete exit strategies. Nature maintains a tight balance to the cicada's existence, and if everything doesn't work perfectly, they simply die. Nothing, however, goes to waste in nature. Every death will enrich the lives of other creatures, no matter how small they are. Everything relies upon insects to survive, and every niche has its purpose within the larger plan. Signs of the cicada's arrival are everywhere throughout the forest, which alerts predators to the new and unexpected food source. Nearly every creature will take advantage of the plentiful abundance of cicadas. Signs of predation upon them are everywhere. 17-year cicadas make a variety of sounds depending on their situation. Male cicadas have a distinct sound when threatened, often louder and monotone. But the most important sound they make is their mating call. If a female likes what she hears, she'll come close and respond by flicking her wings to let the male know she's at least interested. With that response, the pair moves to the next phase, and then they'll mate for several hours before the male goes on his way, leaving the female with the task of laying the eggs. After a short resting period, she'll crawl out onto the end of a branch, use the blade along the edge of her abdomen, and she'll carve a groove into the soft stem. Then, using her ovipositor, she'll lay 20 to 40 eggs into that groove. Hey man, be sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you like what's going on here and you enjoy it, then help me out. All right, thanks. I appreciate your support. Take care, guys. Eventually, she'll move on to other nearby branch stems and repeat the process until she's laid about 500 eggs. Like most female insects, once she's deposited her egg load, her mission to nature is complete, and she'll die within hours. Now, deep into the second week, most of the females have finished laying her eggs. The mass die-off begins, and the dead and dying cicadas only increase the size of the existing pile of shells beneath trees. Hey man, I'm in the studio now because I want to bring you something different. This is for all the science nerds out there, and it goes deep. So stay with me because it's totally cool nature and well worth the ride. Let's think cicada STDs. Yeah, you heard that right. Massosaurus cicadina is a parasitic fungus that infects only 13 and 17-year periodical cicadas. Over a dozen species of Massosaura are known, each of which attacks a specific species of cicada. This is crazy stuff, man. For the sake of time, I'm going to generalize, and we're just going to call it Massosaura C. Massosaura C is thought to be the only fungal pathogen that matches the 17-year life cycle, and it's considered to have the longest life cycle of any fungus. It also contains hallucinogenic chemicals similar to those found in mushrooms, which means they're going to act a lot like amphetamines. The cicadas are mindless to the fact that their abdomens are beginning to rot and fall off, and they just continue about their day as if nothing's wrong. Initial contact takes place when fresh nymphs collect unique resting spores while digging their way to the surface. Most infected adults still have a normal response toward mating and even mating itself, and they spread the disease when they mate. Infected adults are infertile, causing further transmission as they continue to try and successfully mate. The spore-filled abdomens will also alter the pitch of their mating call, making them less favorable to the females. Infected cicadas that come in contact with other infected cicadas will then produce those long-term resting spores, which they unknowingly disperse throughout their entire habitat. Cicadas infected with Massosaurus C have been referred to as flying salt shakers of death. These spores lie dormant in soil and will infect the next generation of cicadas 13 or 17 years later. Massosaurus C can infect the cicadas at any point once it's introduced into soil, but it can't survive winter above ground. Massosaurus C fills the abdomens of infected adults with a chalky plug of spores that slowly rots and replaces the end of their abdomen. Ooh. The cicada is clueless and continues a normal lifestyle until it dies. Periodical cicada populations can be reduced as much as 50% from Massosaurus C. It's just simple population control brought to the cicadas by nature. Although this massive invasion of cicadas is relatively harmless to the environment, the damage to the trees can be seen within a week or two after most of the cicadas have died off. The resulting damage to the trees is called flagging. At the point of the branch stem where the female carved a groove in order to lay her eggs, that branch stem is now going to die and turn brown. All it's going to take then is for a heavy rain or a strong wind, and that branch stem breaks loose and falls to the ground. This simply brings the eggs down close to the ground where the tiny nymphs are going to hatch from those eggs and drop down onto the ground. Now the new nymphs can simply use an existing burrow that was created a few weeks earlier by one of its adults, or they dig their own burrow and the process begins all over again. With a fresh brood of cicadas safely in the ground, we'll not be expecting to see this particular cicada brood for another 17 years. What will you be doing 17 years from now? So you get it, okay? 17 years before we get to see these cool insects again, but there will be subsequent waves coming through between now and then. So we're not all done looking at periodical cicadas. We're just done for 17 years with the brood 10 17-year cicadas. Guys, I hope you understand these things a little bit better. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you really have fun, and I hope you got a chance to get out and engage these insects, because man, what a ton of cool bug fun these things can be. There's always a ton of cool content, and I enjoy bringing it out to you. Let me know you guys like it too. Guys, I'm all done. Have a great day. Be well, be safe, be kind.